All right, now we can get straight into the dailies that we have for today. And let me take you, let's see what we have. All right, so, okay, great. We'll start with the Ghanaian Times. But before we get into that, let me introduce to you a young man who's joined me on the set this morning. Very dapper, suave. You know, when you say suave, you can replace his name with suave. Yeah. Nana Tufo Boatin has joined me this morning. Don't know how.
David, oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
You are blessed.
Thank
you are
you,
highly favored.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Amongst dark men, you stand tall.
Thank you, sir.
You are seriously blessed. I mean, the fact that you get to open a month with your birthday, and the fact that you look the way you look, as good and as fit as you look.
Thank you, sir.
No,
Thank you.
You bless me.
Yeah?
Bless me. Let me tap into that anointing.
It's okay.
David, bless me now.
It's okay
Let
now.
me tap into that grace.
Now. We are on national television. What are you doing now?
You introduced me as a young man.
Yeah, young man. Yeah.
All right, people, let's get straight into the dailies. Interesting headlines, of course, making the dailies this morning. I'm going to start from the Daily Graphic. A major story, of course, coming from that all-important launch yesterday, where the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, launched the road improvement program. Now, the initiative provides 2,240 road construction equipment, creates 10,000 jobs, and it comes with a picture of the President in one of the equipment, and you can see the joy on his face. NHIA launches free annual health checkup initiative. Graphic Greater Housing Fair begins today. 2024 elections, choose peace over violence. Reverend Dr. Dujenfi charges Ghanaians. EC begins mop-up registration today. And then, of course, there's a special supplement on housing in the paper. That's the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper.
All right. I have... on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, MMDA's tasked to improve roads nationwide as President presents fleet of heavy-duty equipment for maintenance, rehabilitation, and upgrade of roads. Okay, so that story was also on the Daily Graphic. I think most people are carrying the story today. Yeah. But the fallout of that occasion, the President inadvertently surprising himself and others, refer to his administration as the
Akufo-Addo Mahama administration.
Yeah,
that's unpardonable. That's unpardonable. Permit me to retract that. I mean, it's interesting to watch when the politicians go like that. Sometimes, we need to let loose and then just have
It's
some
true.
fun.
It's true. I mean,
but we know the President. I mean, this is not the first time he's
No. He has had
a
a few.
I
remember that one, pa.
Yeah. Mankani kra. Nila Tevanda boy,
yeah. So
it's interesting. That's happened. On the anniversary, the 12th anniversary of President Mills.
Yes.
So the man of God who was to introduce the former President John Mahama also did a similar thing.
Oh, really?
So after mentioning his name, John Dramani Mahama, flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party.
Ooh. I missed that. Oh, wow.
And then he lifted both hands in the air like this and begged for forgiveness.
Wow.
So that's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Well, just as you mentioned, almost all the papers are carrying the story.
Let me quickly bring us some information of what's happening. Something's happening right now on the Awoshi highway.
Some youth.
Yes, some youth have blocked the highway at Awoshi because of a traffic signal control that hasn't been working for 3 years. And this is not, it's interesting that a youth of Awoshi have, should I say, they've led the way in this charge because quite honestly, there are quite a number of traffic lights which have not been functional. All right, so 2 weeks ago, a truck actually knocked down 4 people at the junction, and so today they are demonstrating. Even though the police is there, they don't seem to be in any mood to back down. So, well, I think that we are getting to a point where the populace is making its voice heard.
I mean, sometimes it gets frustrating. It's a traffic signal, for Christ's sake. There's someone sitting behind a console managing this traffic signal. It should be able to indicate to you how, if this is malfunctioning or non-functioning. It should be able to address this.
No, but you see, even beyond that, there are people who are in those offices who use these routes.
Exactly. Like I keep saying, that it's
and
just,
you've
it's
seen
just,
it. It's
like
not working.
the Tamamoto Way issue. I said to myself that we had a roads minister for close to 7.5 years who lived in Tema.
Yes. Yes.
So it came as no surprise to me when the motorway was deteriorating and no one was saying anything. I convinced myself that, look, it's not going to happen. So now you drive on the motorway by memory and not by sight.
I know, right?
You need to memorize where the potholes are, so you can maneuver the motorway.
You know
and
that
it's the same thing happening at the Awoshi place. I mean, this traffic light has not been working for what, 3 years? There have been knockdowns, there have been casualties. People have lost lives because this is non-functioning. And I dare say that if you should go there, the street lights as well may not be working.
Yes.
Because nobody cares, but yet somebody goes home with a slurry. Somebody gets paid for doing nothing.
This thing,
and that is where the problem is.
This thing is like we reward people for incompetence.
Exactly.
And we punish people when they are trying. Isn't this the issue of the chief who was trying to fix this neighborhood?
Exactly.
They said they were going to arrest him. You see, I don't get it.
I mean, there are pecs to it, but I mean, he's made the effort.
Blinded us.
Clearly, if you have seen him making the effort and he's not doing perhaps the right thing, pay your specifications,
then guide
you intervene and guide. But you see, all this has political underpinnings because in your head you are like, no, if we allow this guy go ahead, he's making us look bad. But the road needs to be fixed.
That already makes you look bad. And the fact that you can't see that a poor road makes you look bad, it's a problem.
We have a long way to go. We have a long way to go.
All
right, let me take you to the Chronicle. Chronicle has the DRIP story. DRIP being the District Road Improvement Program.
Drip,
you know what I'm saying?
Drip.
And yesterday the president was dripping in his African print. I understand the shirt he wore. The name of that print is called Diakroje from Ebu.
Diakro?
Jim Frama Ebu.
Oh, I see. If one tree collects all the wind draft, it will break. So it's a collective.
Exactly.
It has to be a collective. Unity.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So there's that happening. The local government minister spoke there. He was elated over the acquisition of road improvement equipment. And there's a story from Tema that says Tema Court overturns its ruling to seize Nene Okumo Lanoe, the Ford's vehicle. Majority caucus wants Bagbin to recall Parliament a day after recess. It's interesting when this happens, and this won't be the first time in this 8th Parliament that the majority has had cause to request for a recall when the House has adjourned sine die. I mean, you are in charge of government business. You are in charge of business in the House. The minority only comes into the House to conduct business. You have to lay the business before the House. But we see in our reports, in even live broadcasts from Parliament, empty seats over and over and over again. Yet the House adjourns, or even on the day of adjournment, you see them rushing a lot of government business. So there are times that the House has had to sit till about 12 a.m. And you see, it's an election year. Members of Parliament have to go campaign.
Out and campaign.
I even understand all 3 speakers are not within the jurisdiction at the moment. Although the rules do permit for an elevation of an MP to sit as chair, but all 3 speakers are not within the jurisdiction. So we allow these things. There's a lackluster attitude towards the business of the House. The House adjourns, and now we have to recall when people have other businesses to conduct. It's I don't know. Maybe we should look at the conduct of the House and how people are more.
Well, they say they are the masters of their own rules. So
we understand that and we respect that perfectly.
I wonder what all of that
should that
means.
impact us?
No, it shouldn't.
Because you should see the list of bills that need to be attended to. The number of items on government's business that need to be addressed. Mind you, this will be the end of the 8th Parliament. By 7th January, when there's a swearing in, we're moving into the 9th Parliament. Possibly a new government in power, with new policies, new ideologies, new things they want to execute. So what happens to the hanging fruits? I mean,
anyway, You done with the Chronicle?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Daily Guide
Unless
says,
you want me to give you the scripture.
yeah, please give me the scripture. I always like Chronicle scriptures.
The book of John, chapter 3, verses 27. John answered and said, a man can receive nothing unless it has been given to him from heaven.
Thank you.
A man can receive nothing unless it has been given to him from heaven. So fight all you want.
Yeah. All right, so Daily Guide starts with this. It says, Nana launches drip for better road network. Northerners embrace Baumia's vision of possibilities. We have affirmative action bill passage, a critical move in gender equality. This is coming from the minister. And we have Ifya Kutu sues A+ for 5 million Ghana cedis. All right, so that's the Daily Guide.
That's
yeah,
quite old.
I know.
Trying to revive it. Anyways, the New Finder also has the drip story, 2,240 machines to fix roads. It will create 10,000 jobs. That's according to the president. But there's a spin to it.
Okay.
The minority in parliament is demanding the cost of equipment.
Yeah.
And so in same paper on page 4, you find a story where the minority files RTI request to demand cost of drip project. Recall Parliament to approve loans, bills, majority to Speaker. That's what we were discussing earlier on. And Ghana Gas shuts down for 17 days planned maintenance. BOG mandates Ghana card for forex transactions. Okay. I'm sure this is part of the measures they are putting in place to help regulate the depreciation of the cedi. Hopefully it works. It works. Yeah, and reduces the transactions on the black market, which go a long way to affect the rates of exchange. So hopefully it works. But the Ghana gas story, we pray there's no shortage. I mean, the gas people have told us, given us an assurance that there's no shortage.
Okay.
There were concerns early this week about a looming shortage. It turns out it was artificial.
Okay.
Because dealers were expecting a hike in prices.
Yeah.
But fortunately for us, the predictions we are getting from the sector players looks more like there's going to be a drop than an increase.
Oh, I see.
And so that shortage has been dealt with. But with the shutdown of the Ghana gas plants for 17 days planned maintenance, we are hoping that really there's enough stock in the system. Yeah.
Well, yes, so that story is here also on the Anchor. The Anchor newspaper. It says Ghana Gas to shut down plant but assures public of no doom so. Okay, and in the paper it just says here very quickly, just one sentence. The shutdown, according to management, is to allow for critical safety and essential maintenance works to be carried out to enhance the plant's operational efficiency and uninterrupted gas supply. So that's what we have from that. Don't politicize Atlantic Lithium deal ratification. Central Regional Chiefs plead with Parliament and political actors. It also has here a story from yesterday. One District, One Equipment initiative launched. Over 5,000 Ghanaians to get jobs. And one final one, Ghana-Germany exchange program in carpentry ends successfully. All right.
Daybreak newspaper, Afenyo Markin demands extraordinary house sitting. The stop press, okay. Bargain scare hits Ghana Armed Forces. You'd have to get the paper to get the details of that. Akufo-Addo launches drip for enhanced road network. Ghana must abandon multi-party democracy. Former Cowbank MD comes with a picture of Frank Edu Jr., who is a former managing director of Cowbank. I'm sure this story is coming from the conversations
I read about
that year conversations yesterday, which was carried live here. I'm sure if you go on our socials, you should be able to find a link and, of course, enjoy it.
But that's an interesting suggestion. He says that we should abandon
the multi-party democracy.
I wonder at this point that if that were to happen, what would be the modus operandi? How will we go? How will we achieve? Because right now everybody is entrenched. The country is split down the middle. You know, there's MPP on one side with a certain average number of voters or supporters.
I think he just re-echoed the reality we are refusing to accept. So his alternative is a two-party system.
So two-party in governance.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, that's what it is. But I'm not sure in governance. But he wants us to accept the fact that we are running a two-party system.
So
and not
instead
a
of saying
multi-party
it's a
system.
multi-party, as in that we have 5 parties
Exactly.
or 6 parties or whatever,
Yeah.
it's 2 parties.
It's 2
That's
parties.
what it
it's
is.
the NDC, the NPP.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it is. That's the reality of our
But
democracy now.
But in other jurisdictions, even though they have a similar situation which Ghana has, as in 2 frontline parties, right? You go to England, it's the same. You go to Germany, it's the same. You go to France, it's the same. You go to the US, it's the same. However, the third forces have slowly crept up in some of the countries.
Yeah.
Do you see? So you have in France, you see, or Europe actually,
Yeah.
the third forces seem to have more sway in Europe. Whereas in America, it's like Ghana, I mean, it's just Republican or Democrat. Nobody's ever going to get any other chance again. Anyway, so it's interesting.
He's only asking us to officially recognize the fact that
this is what it is.
Yeah. But guess what? He wants party manifestos also abolished.
I don't think that's a good idea. I think, and maybe and I appreciate where he comes from, I think that let's insist that all parties draw their manifestos from a prior agreed upon general Ghana plan.
But that's also something the president does not agree to. I mean, we heard him speak when he met with the NDPC, the National Development Planning Commission, and he blatantly shuts down the suggestion of abolishing party manifestos.
It's okay. He can have that, but he will not be around for very
See,
long.
the thing
so
too
we
is
to
this.
decide how
We've
we
had
want the country
development plan after development plan.
Yes, but you see.
But implementation.
But you see, the thing is that nobody is obliged to follow their plan.
Exactly.
But we have to oblige them.
Yeah. And
obligate them to follow the plan.
Until we have these plans backed by law that transcend political parties.
Thank you. And
political regimes.
And insist that your manifesto must come from that. So then they go ahead and do a manifesto. It's not a problem. But your manifesto must come from there.
I keep saying that we have some of the best policies on paper.
Yeah.
But on implementation, because it doesn't fit into somebody's
idea of what it is they want to.
Jargon.
Yeah.
We have to bear the brunt.
Can you imagine?
Anyways, I'll wrap it off with the BNFT, Business and Financial Times. Infrastructure, Akufo-Addo launches District Road Improvement Program. Fintech, blocks TBD hackathon grants to address gaps in payment systems. Banking, GCB Bank partners Retail Banking Institute to deliver professional training for staff. And then, of course, there's the major story, BOG's stringent Forex ID requirements take effect today. That's the front page of the Business and Financial Times.
Yeah. Okay.
So now if you're going to the Forex Bureau, you need your Ghana card.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay, let me take a couple of headlines from the New Trust. The New Trust says, Ghana decides on December 7th, KMA PM rallies strong support for 5 neglected institutions. We also have NHIA launches ambitious free annual health checkup program in Accra. I kind of like that program, though. I mean, it may be ambitious, but I think we can find the money to support that program.
It's priorities. Once we'll make it a priority, we'll find the money for it.
Absolutely.
There are so many things we have funded that today have yielded
You're just wondering.
zilch.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So once we get our priorities right, we'll find the money to implement some of these things.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Well, you want to go into any particular story?
Yeah, I'm thinking this DRIP program, it's quite important. I mean, 2,240 road construction equipment for all MMDAs, that's Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies. It's quite a great initiative, right?
Yeah.
And but then my biggest concern is our poor maintenance culture. If we're going to take good care of these equipment, that's one. And if we're going to put them to use, I mean, for its intended purpose. We don't want to sit here and our correspondents will call us from the various regions and tell us that they've seen one of the equipment at some Galamsey sites because it's been rented out to some illegal miner.
Which is not far-fetched.
Exactly. Or it's been rented out to a private person to do his private business. You get it? So we're hoping that really the Secretariat, that's the District Assembly's Common Fund Secretariat, Irene Natoshi's place, will really institute some proper supervision and monitoring mechanism to ensure the safety of these equipment in good shape, and of course used for its intended purpose.
I agree.
Because the roads in this country are bad. We can do all the politics of comparison we like.
The roads are still bad.
But when you apply the road, the reality there
is there. Yeah.
You will face
very
it.
True. Very, very true.
It's just that some of us, we are in the lecture, so we feel it more than others. But, I mean, we all feel it. You understand?
Yeah.
Somebody's shocks will be replaced for him, but me, you know, I have to chew my nails to get Skakra to go and fix my shocks.
It's crazy.
So really, we're hoping that this will be a game changer in road construction and road maintenance, especially. Because after we construct the roads, we leave them to deteriorate back to zero, and then we need to find huge sums of money to go back to do the repair works.
Meanwhile, when you go to other jurisdictions, you actually see the road, we don't allow the pothole to even develop. We will deal with it. We've seen places where they worked overnight to fix things. Yes. Exactly.
Craters developed. There was a collapse in the middle of the road. It was fixed within days. And you see, the beauty of it is that anybody around that place was notified ahead of time that this is the situation. We're going to fix this. So if it is going to affect water supply, you are notified. Like if it's going to affect electricity supply, you are notified. If it's going to cause distress to you as a pedestrian using that stretch, you are notified. But here, nobody seems to care.
Let me just quickly read this before we go for sports here. This is from ChannelOneNews.com. I'm not reading the entire thing, but the heading here says, let's abandon multi-party system, scrap party manifestos, Frank Edu speaking. And I'm going to quote him further down, I think it's the third paragraph down. It says here, my first proposal, and controversially so, let's agree to abandon multi-party democracy. I still believe in democracy and introduce a dual-party democracy. And they said, that is to say, let us officially recognize that we have two parties, because effectively that is what we have. Let us officially recognize that we have two parties, he stated. Now, in addition to his call for a two-party system, Mr. Edu Jr. Criticized the practice of party manifestos, which he described as increasingly unrealistic and financially burdensome. He goes on to say, let us abolish party manifestos which only make flowery promises, some of which are frankly not realistic, and but most dangerously are made without recourse to the effect on national finances and a long-term effect on the economy. I do not need to give an example. All I know is that every 4 years, the promises made by these political manifestos become more and more ridiculous and unnecessarily costly.
Basically, that's what it is. The manifestos now have been reduced to promises. You understand? So you are not seeing clear-cut policies. And even the policies, you do not have a plan for execution of the policy. So it's become promise galore. Promise after promise after promise. And that's what we see. I mean, we make the promises. It's like you want to build. You don't have a plan for the building. You don't have a source of funding. But you wake up and go to site.
Let's go to site and go and build. Anyway, Nana, thank you very much.
Thank you too. And once again, happy birthday to you. God bless you.
Thank you. And you see, I'm in my gold outfit here.
Exactly.
I'm planning to,
No, so I'll be waiting for you downstairs. Today, what can come.
Okay. Sports is next. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Now let's do some sports stories now. Ghana's representatives in the CAF Interclub competitions next season, Swatraman FC and Summertex 1996, have been cleared to use the Accra Sports Stadium for their home games in the upcoming campaign. The Accra Stadium pitch has come under heavy criticism for its poor quality, and this was highlighted by former Ghana Sports Minister Nilante Vanderpoy and Deputy Sports Minister Evans Bobi Opoku. Ghana Premier League winners Summertex will be in the CAF Champions League, while Swatraman will compete in the CAF Confederation Cup. Summertex face Victoria United from Cameroon in the opening round of the Champions League, and Swatraman will take on Niger's Electric Sports in the opening stages of the Confederation Cup.
All right, now let's go to do some Olympic news. And Jamaican sprinter Shericka Jackson announced that she had pulled out of the women's 100-meter event on Wednesday. Now, the athlete said her decision was to protect her body from injury after failing to finish a race in Hungary a few months ago due to a cramp. due to cramps. Now, she added that she had wanted to focus only on the 200 in the Olympics. Now, Shashali Forbes has been drafted as her replacement, but Jackson's exit means the American runner Sha'Carri Richardson is now the favorite for the women's 100-meter title this year. Now, in the women's football, the United States progressed to the quarterfinals after they beat Australia 2-1 on Wednesday, thanks to goals from Trinity Rodman and Corbin Albert. Now, in some other matches, in the women's football, Japan beat Nigeria 3-1, and Spain were 2-0 winners over Brazil, while Germany put Zambia aside by 4-1. Now, in men's basketball, United States were too strong for South Sudan as they won 106-83. Bam Adebayo top scored for the Americans with 18 points, with Kevin Durant adding 14. And the win was USA's second as they faced Puerto Rico in their final group game again on August 3rd. All right. Isn't it interesting?
Very interesting.
Adebayo, he was a good top scorer, originally from somewhere near us.
Yeah, and now has become a top scorer somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
All right.
All right. Well, that's it for sports today.